Hello, and welcome to another edition of Focus. I'm your host, Vernon L. Bolling. We're cooking again, the flavors of ethnic cooking, which means we're back at Lonnie Williams' house. We're in his kitchen. And today, because of popular demand, we're gonna do some fish. And we're gonna do a fish that just people are seemingly eating a lot of today, and that's tilapia. Just like it was with catfish when it first came out. A lot of people didn't eat it. But then all of a sudden it just went wild. And that's the same thing would happen with tilapia. So we're gonna go back in and we're gonna prepare some tilapia for you. And once again, we're gonna put a little, we do a complete meal. We try to make it healthy. Spinach is always good. If you've ever, if you're not a spinach fan, try it. I think you're gonna like it. And we're gonna do rice pilaf. I don't know if we've ever done rice pilaf before, but we're gonna try it anyway. So thank you for joining us today. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna do flavors of ethnic cooking, and hopefully you'll enjoy yourself.
One thing you got to learn when you're a rancher, leave it better for the next generation. I'm Jim Ohako. I'm a rancher at a place called Shovelin Butte.
Arizona Game and Fish has been working with Jim Ohako to maintain and enhance wildlife habitat. Without the lottery, we couldn't do the work we're doing, and we couldn't make the efforts that we are right now.
This ranch, it's like a family member. It's just part of us. And I think through these projects that we've done, it is better. It's a win-win situation. We're improving the habitat for everything for future generations.
Welcome back to the Flavors of Ethnic Cooking on the Focus program. As you can see, we're in Lonnie Williams' house, which means we're doing another cooking show. Hey, we're getting close to those holidays. First of all, let me say this to you. Happy holiday, no matter which way, what you're observing. I want to be the first to say happy holidays to you. So today, I'm just over here rinsing off a little spinach. I have a habit of doing that, because if you've seen spinach, you know there's rocks in it, there's dirt in it, no matter what it is. So I have a habit of rinsing it off. That's just something I do. And you see the water. When you look at your spinach, you'll see the water is a little dirty. Also, Lonnie's over here getting ready to do, I guess I should say hello, Lonnie.
Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for letting us come into your kitchen again.
This is going to be a quick one. Easy.
You're getting ready to do a little rice.
This is a very simple meal. It's so simple we'll have to take a break and maybe make something to drink to talk about.
I understand you got a little special for it, because you're doing rice pilaf, though.
Yes,
right?
But the only thing that takes a little time is the rice. So I got my water boiling.
And let me just say to the audience that besides water, you did half broth, chicken broth,
yes,
and half water. I
did.
That is something you do. You give your rice a little extra kick, a little extra flavor.
That's it. And we went just a straight white rice. We're going to add some, we're going to kick it up a little bit to make it a rice pilaf. Then we're going to do some other things also.
Okay. So we've got the spinach, boom, you just started that rice. And I understand you have something special for us.
Because this is going to be quick, if you're having someone over, you always want to have something to talk about. Wine is good.
Any excuse will do.
Right, the wine is good, but sometimes you want to kick it up. So we're going to very quickly do a drink that you and I both know about from Jamaica.
The dirty banana.
The dirty banana.
The dirty banana. And tell us a little bit of what you put in there.
It's all rum based. So I got some rum liqueur. Any kind will do. And it all depends on what you have. I'm doing two different kinds of rum. I'm doing a dark rum, or in this case, a black rum.
Okay.
And I'm basically doing 1 ounce per person. So if you're making 2, you just double it, okay? And then
I noticed you only did 2 because you said per person, so we're not giving the cameraman none.
He doesn't. He's got to work.
Get a little shaky there.
Work.
Okay.
Then I got a little simple syrup to sweeten it up, and I only do about a half of that. And this is something that's good to have around for all kind of drinks.
Okay, right.
It's just simple syrup. Then, depends on your taste, you throw in as many whole bananas as you want, the thicker you want it.
And it's a good way to get rid of bananas that might be aging a little bit.
In fact,
too,
as
right?
you know, I tend to freeze bananas,
keep your
and I take, you know, with a banana that you freeze before it doesn't go bad,
Right.
you just take like a carrot peeler or a potato peeler and peel it off, because you can't do it. And you get down to the banana.
That's a good little secret for you folks who,
Yeah.
like myself, you always end up with that 1 or 2 bananas. And as Lonnie said, and I must admit, I picked this up from him.
You take a banana that I've frozen,
Okay.
and then we could peel it off and use it in this drink.
Good idea.
We're not doing that now, but again, don't try to peel it with your hands, but just get a peeler.
Okay.
So I'm putting 3.
Okay,
Then I got about ounce or 2 of milk,
that's milk, okay.
and then some ice. And this is sort of, you know, a nice way to start off an evening having some conversation. And, you know, you're getting your fiber from your banana. I mean, that's
Amongst other things.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. You know, you got your fiber and all of that, and if I got this right, just mix it up.
Okay. And just once again, this is called Dirty Banana. Is there a consistency we're trying to get it to?
It all depends. If you want it like a malt,
Yeah, that's what
then you can, you know, put more bananas in, put more ice in.
you can put more ice in and let it whip it up.
Yeah,
It'll get it
I want it more as a drink,
Okay.
and so I'm not interested in that. And so, based on that, you'll see the dark color,
Okay.
and you want the ice cubes to have some. You don't want to grind them all up, because then you'll have a slush. And
Do you?
this is your drink. Got a little bite to it.
Very good tasting.
And,
Very good tasting.
you know, with that, I can
And
get
some of
back to
y'all
the
may
kitchen.
need to wait till after you cook the.
No. So this is your conversation piece.
This
you
is
know?
definitely the conversation
This
piece.
is your conversation piece in terms of that. And when you're doing that, I'm going to start cutting on some things here.
And I know we're going to do tilapia.
Well, what we're doing, Vernon, is a fish dish. And I say fish dish because it's simple, and you can use the fish you want to use.
Okay.
We're using tilapia. You could use trout. You can
That's right.
use any type
You
of
can use any kind of white fish
white
in many
fish,
cases, right?
and you can even use salmon.
Exactly right.
You know, but you know, if you ever had a market, they got a good deal on some basic white fish, this recipe will work with that.
I'm cutting the stems off my spinach. There are some people who just like the stems, but I prefer to take it off, just to let you know, so you wonder what I'm doing over here.
And they cook better that way, in my opinion, but you know, in terms of that.
Well, you know, there's a lot of folks who say the nourishment's in your stems, and I'm not going to argue that point. But I'm with you. I do cut my stems off of them as well. But
And while you're doing that, I'm going to start, you know, talking about the tilapia with just some basic olive oil.
okay,
And the key to this recipe is the seasonings that you use. We have a couple of things. I have some fresh rosemary, and the only reason I'm using fresh is because I actually have a rosemary plant outside that I try to grow, and it's been around for a while. And what you do is you just take the stem and you just take it off, and you always want to cut your heat down, because you don't want to burn your seasons, your
that's
seasoning.
true. That's true.
And so I get some rosemary in here, and then I've already cut up some garlic, and we're going to use garlic in a number of things. And basically, I've just smashed a couple of cloves, and I want to get some garlic in here, and always some onions. And in this recipe, we're going to have a little sage for the fish, gives it a little tingy flavor. And we'll use some lemon later, but I'm just going to basically get this brown, and then I'm going to take this off the heat. And so when you get ready, I'll get the situation ready for the spinach, which won't take very long. And we have some onions for that, and we'll be using some crushed red pepper in that, and some lemon, and that'll be it for that. This kind of meal that once you've been doing Christmas shopping,
It's a quickie meal.
instead of going home, instead of stopping at McDonald's or fast food, stop by the store, get some fish. You already have rice, grab some spinach, and you're good. And given the holidays, we definitely need that type of difference.
Yeah. And you should have rice.
And I always put a little olive oil on my fish before I season it. The reason for that is very simple. The seasoning is going to adhere to the fish a little bit better. I don't use salt because we got enough things that will add salt to the mixture.
And if you choose to use salt, there's
Sea
better
salt.
salts like sea salt. You'll see a lot of things are being done with sea salt. That's much better for you. So I want to make sure I give you that option. You're watching The Flavors of Ethnic Cooking. I'm Vernon L. Bolling, that's Lonnie Williams, and we are doing a special, well, you could say it's a pre-holiday show. You don't have to use turkey. We're doing tilapia, we're doing spinach, and we're doing rice pilaf. We'll be right back, and Focus continues.
My husband was deployed in October of 2009.
After he left, everything just felt like it sank.
Just didn't really like life at the time.
The hardest thing was just trying to figure out a new routine.
When you're a military family, things like the arts really are extra here at ASU Ganage. The Arizona Lottery enables 200 military dependents to come to the theater 3 times a year. This is our way of saying thank you, and we can never say thank you enough.
Welcome back to Flavors of Ethnic Cooking on the Focus program. I'm Vernon, that's Lonnie. And you can see from the water, that's why in the beginning I told you I kind of rinse off my greens because they're dirty. And I know a lot of people say, well, I just cook them in the pot, and that's fine. You can throw them right in the pot and take the water, it takes the dirt off, but I like to rinse off all my greens because I was a farmer as a little kid. I grew up around a farm, and so that's one of the things that I do. We're cooking some spinach. Lonnie has already started the tilapia.
And
put it in the pan already.
One of the tricks that you gotta do with fish like tilapia is you see how you got 2 pieces running, one's a little thinner than the other, and you need to always put the thicker piece toward the center, because no matter how good your stove is or your grill, that's gonna cook quicker. So you always want the fatter piece toward the center, and that's going to make the whole fish cook evenly. If not, you end up with one side burned and one side not. And with that, I'm going to get ready for the spinach, which we are going to put in time. And what I'm going to just start out with is some garlic and some olive oil, just a few bits of onions. So you can see that sometimes recipes are pretty basic, and I've always think if you can have onions and garlic and maybe some shallots, if you want something different, you're always going to be okay in terms of that. And we're also going to put in just a tad bit of butter in that. We're going to gives it a little kick when you're talking about your spinach. And what we do is, you see this pan looks small for that. Well, we're going to put 1 bunch in, and it'll cook down very quickly. And then we're going to add some more once it cooks down in terms of that. I like cooking spinach in a pan like this without water, because as you know, most of what you have over there is water.
It's water.
And if you put it in water, you're cooking the nutrients out of it. So if you grab a big bunch of the spinach,
Why not just bring the whole?
that's excellent. And let me just grab a good bunch and to get it started, and we'll see how quickly that cooks down. And while you're doing this, of course, you need to be watching your rice, because my rice is almost ready. Won't know until I actually taste it, but it looks like it's almost ready. And I need to flip my tilapia. I always like to try to remember which way I put it in terms of timing, but you can tell from that flip that it's clearly ready on that side. You see how translucent it is?
Now, let me ask a question.
Yes.
If you're a person who likes to brown their fish, like a little, just put a little less liquid in it, or?
Well, in my opinion, if you really want to brown it, you're better off getting your oven very, very hot and ending it like right about now,
Okay.
and putting it in the oven.
Okay.
Because trying to brown it on a stove top is going to lead to it being tough and burned. I see browning, I don't care whether it's brown or not, and I know you don't care.
Right.
But if you're going to do it, you're better off doing it in the oven.
Okay.
Very hot, like 450 for like 1 or 2 minutes to get a brown on it on broil. Because basically, this, look how, see, it's almost ready. You
It's
can
almost
tell.
ready. Now, that spinach there, it doesn't take that spinach too much at all.
No, it's going to cook down on the spinach, and we'll be ready to basically finish up the rice. We got one more thing to do on the rice.
Okay.
And we'll be
And we're
done.
making a little rice pilaf when we finish it. Spinach, tilapia. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back when Focus continues.
Let's see if that's...
No, you go ahead, Tracy.
My husband was deployed in October of 2009.
After he left, everything just felt like it sank.
Just didn't really like life at the time.
The hardest thing was just trying to figure out a new routine.
When you're a military family, things like the arts really are extra here at ASU Gannett. The Arizona Lottery enables 200 military dependents to come to the theater 3 times a year. This is our way of saying thank you, and we can never say thank you enough.
Taking out the
Welcome
last-
back to the Focus program, the Flavors of Ethnic Cooking. Lonnie's spooning out the tilapia now.
It's definitely done. I've cut the spinach off. It's definitely done. And so,
So the only thing we have left to do is to finish the rice pilaf, right?
yeah, and I'm going to...
We don't want to forget about our special treat that we had. We're getting close to those holiday times.
Seems like you've had a little
Dirty-
bit more. You've had a little bit more time to drink it than I have.
Well, you like to eat a little bit more than I do, so
That is true. All right,
so
let's do.
our dirty banana.
Let's finish off the mixture of the rice, and it starts with, and this is something, the holidays we're not going to worry about, but we start with about a half a stick of butter.
Okay, now, for those who are really trying to be on that diet, do they need to use the butter?
They do not need to. But
Can they use something other than butter?
Well, not really. You can use olive oil all the time.
I'm just
By the way,
asking.
I'm putting the lemon in the spinach and let that sit a little bit because that'll give it a little tang. And once this gets melted, we're going to add some onions. And again, I keep repeating the same thing. Onions and
garlic?
Not surprisingly. And you know, the benefit of that too is you catch all these things on sale and you're good.
Right.
You know, you're good for a week. And you want to get these brown. And then there's some seasonings I want to add. We talked about it. And this is going to give it a little kick. A little red pepper.
What is that, your pepper?
This is red, crushed red pepper. Don't go crazy.
Yeah, and when people talk about, you know, a tablespoon or teaspoon or smidgen, you know, you just, to your liking.
A little thyme, just a little bit.
Yeah. And if you're not used to using these seasonings, you really need to test them because you don't want it to take away the flavor of everything.
And the reason you're using the butter, Vernon, is not only because you want to get your onions and that cooked, is because what you're going to do is come back with your rice, which, you know, well, the water's all gone and everything else, because you basically got rice.
Okay.
Here, that's all you got. It's definitely cooked, you know. And
Make sure it's cooked.
Yep. And then you're basically going to finish it off by putting all of this in there and mixing it up. And that's going to give you the flavor that you don't normally have, especially with white rice. So basically now we got, you know, the red pepper, we got some garlic, we got some onions, and it's just going to take it to a different level in terms of that, but it's still basic rice. So basically, given that we've made very little rice, enough for about a good tablespoon apiece, we got some good spinach, and we got some very, very lean fish. I mean, this meal can't be much over 500 calories, which is good for anything in terms of that. So basically, with that,
do you put it back on the eye?
No, I've turned everything off. I'm assuming we're ready to serve because the heat that I put in that is gonna warm it up a little bit. But no, it's ready.
Okay, and it's considered to be rice pilaf.
It is rice pilaf. Rice pilaf consists of white rice and a whole bunch of different things.
What other things you put in?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, we're going to take that last break, and when we come back, you know what I say, the tail of the ape is in taste, so we need to see what it's going to taste like. So don't touch that remote. We'll be right back when Focus continues.
One thing you got to learn when you're a rancher, leave it better for the next generation. I'm Jim Ohako. I'm a rancher at a place called Shovelin Butte.
Arizona Game and Fish has been working with Jim Ohako to maintain and enhance wildlife habitat. Without the lottery, we couldn't do the work we're doing and we couldn't make the efforts that we are right now.
This ranch, it's like a family member. It's just part of us. And I think through these projects that we've done, it is better. It's a win-win situation. We're improving the habitat for everything for future generations.
As always, bon appetit. Welcome back to Focus, the flavors of ethnic cooking. We've been here at Lonnie's house. Let me just share with you once again before I dive in. We have a little rice pilaf. I'm gonna jump over here to the spinach, and then we have tilapia fish. It's a very, very popular fish right now. So it's one that if you've never tried it, try it. It's very good.
And you're not going to get a more healthier type situation. And you know, you didn't even comment that I've kind of done a little presentation.
Well, I
here.
didn't think that
mean,
you need to speak on those things. I
Well-
mean, people see it, and they either like it or they don't.
There are,
You know, when
but this is for,
you only speak when you're insecure.
but this is for the brothers who are trying to take it to another level.
You mean the people who are blind?
For the ladies, because they appreciate this. They appreciate when you take some time and think about, you know, you got a little color here, the lemon, it makes a difference.
And brother,
Now,
don't forget the lemon.
Yeah.
He garnished it with lemon.
I
and,
did.
And let me just say this to you, brothers. Taste it first, because if it's not right,
You're right.
immediately
Right,
call for reservation.
right.
I mean, you know.
Or even make it yourself the
Try
night
it.
before.
Right.
Just a
That's
test run.
that's the best way.
Because,
That's the best way.
yeah, but
try it yourself.
why don't we do that anymore?
Because we're
Because
good.
I don't care what you eat.
because we're good.
Okay.
Because we're good. That's all. Been doing this for a long time.
I always make sure your fish is done, but your fish is done when it falls apart.
Yeah, I
Yours
always
is done.
want, because I'm not into the. I'm just not into undone fish. But the pilaf is very good.
You can kind of taste that little kick that makes it a little different.
That's that red pepper.
And you don't get the onions or the garlic. You know they're there because you've cooked it, but it's not like an oniony type flavor.
No. I really don't want to throw you under the bus, but why didn't you put out a plate for Tony? I'm just asking. I mean, you just.
Well, I thought my memory on that is that you were going to do that.
Here we go.
That's my memory because I always make enough food for Tony. I always make enough food.
You
for
do,
Tony.
but he didn't get a plate this time.
No, but this man has a real.
Good kid.
It does have a kick.
We want to thank you very much for joining us for another edition of Flavors of Ethnic Cooking. The holidays are coming. Hey, treat yourself, treat your family good. You never know when it's your last holiday.
That's right.
You never know.
That's right.
But thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us our, we're winding down to 41 years.
Yeah,
41 years on the air, and Lonnie's been with us for so long, I can't tell you.
I started when I was like 15.
You started
Remember to say something to your loved ones that sometimes we don't, and that is just every now and then, I love you.
Yeah,
That's
always do
important.
that word.
That's already.
But thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll join us and continue to focus in with us. Have a good holiday. I don't get a chance to say it.